What is up, Arizona? It is a good day to have a great day. I'm Cameron Cox. Thank you so much for watching, wherever you're watching, on 12 Plus, 12news.com, 12 News on YouTube. We're getting you set and counting you down for the GOAT's retirement press conference, right? Diana Taurasi set to speak to the Valley for the first time since announcing her retirement, of course. We all knew DT was kind of leaning towards retirement, so the news not a total shock, but it still just doesn't feel real, even after some weeks of sitting on it. DT saying when this all kind of went down, she knows right now, quote, I'm done with basketball. That's what she knows. As for what's next, we're going to find out. She doesn't know yet. DT retiring after 20 seasons in the W, 3 championships here in the Valley, the league's all-time leading scorer. No question she is leaving the game so much better than how she found it. The 42-year-old admitting it got harder both mentally and physically the past few years to kind of suit up and play, but she is very much at peace with this decision. Before we take you out live to the Mercury's practice facility, let's look back at some of the best DT moments in our 12 Sports Vault. It's an honor to be called old because it means you've survived, you're still doing it.
Grizzled, scratches for luck, scars for freedom, and I got a lot of scars.
How lucky were we? A front row nightly seat watching one of the greatest to ever pick up a basketball play.
Taurasi,
that is how you end a quarter.
Number 1 overall pick in 04, long hair D before the famous bun.
This is my home. I feel ownership of what's happened here in Phoenix.
11-time All-Star, 3 championships, MVPs, the league's all-time leading scorer.
You always want to leave things better than you found them. To be able to say that this court's going to be here for the next generation of Mercury players means a lot.
Don't forget those 6 Olympic gold medals, always the fiercest competitor. That's why our childhood hero, the late great Kobe Bryant, called her the White Mamba.
This franchise, through my ups and my downs, always had my back, and in that sense, I've been really lucky.
That's a GOAT resume to go along with being an all-time human.
She is one of one. She's the GOAT of our game. She has one of the biggest hearts that I've ever been around.
Diana is the reason why we're able to do this and the way that it's grown.
Never shy to speak her mind or get a technical foul.
You just can't be scared, You can post Instagram pictures, you can clap in people's faces. That's not going to get you a win, though.
Who's clapping in your face? I didn't miss that.
I'm happy today.
A little understated during your intros out there, Diana.
I don't dance for free.
She is the model of how to play the game the right way.
29 seasons of Mercury basketball. DT on the court for 20 years of unshakable faith.
This place has given me so many amazing relationships that I'll take with me forever. I'll always be a part of this franchise.
So as we say thank you, DT, and celebrate an obvious Hall of Fame career, as a Valley, we want to tell you what you told your teammates and all of us so many times before.
I love you guys.
I love you guys, and thank you for everything.
I love you.
The Phoenix Mercury select Diana Taurasi.
It was a pick that proved prophetic. The start of a 20-year commitment between Diana and the desert, and a friendship that's still ongoing.
I was in Phoenix the year that we drafted Diana.
Bryant was an assistant coach with the Mercury for a rookie year. It was his only season in Phoenix, but he knew Taurasi was teeming with talent.
There won't be many players come down the pike that are more competitive than she is.
The tenacity evident when the team missed the playoffs.
Her just expressing how she wasn't used to that. She wanted more, and she wanted to be the best, and she wants her teams to be the best.
Bryant bounced to another coaching job before Taurasi reached the top. He still had a borderline front row seat.
She and Sue Bird were best friends.
Agler coached Bird in Seattle for 7 seasons. Matchups with Phoenix were must-see.
How much they wanted to beat the other one when they played against each other. I mean, it was personal.
Personal because they were practically the same person.
They just had a chemistry.
Nancy Bird, Sue's mom, said the Olympics were a glimpse.
Sue knew how to get her the ball where she needed it, and Diana trusted her tremendously.
The WNBA legacy's the real gold standard.
I am very proud that Sue and Diana stayed in one place. I just think it's loyalty, connection.
You just don't see that very often anymore in professional sports.
Agler says it was time that was Taurasi's greatest gift.
I'm happy when anybody that really commits to something like she did to this game, she did to the league, she did to the city of Phoenix and the organization, that she sort of got a chance to leave on her own terms.
In Phoenix, Jake Garcia, 12 Sports.
You know, this city has just been second to none to me. It's home now. And it's not easy being in one place for 20 years. You know, it's a long relationship of, you know, ups and downs and compromise, and I don't like this and I don't like that. But at the end of the day, this franchise, through my ups and my downs, always had my back, and I always try to pay that back by coming back a better player, a better teammate, and, you know, in that sense, I've been really lucky. This place has given me so many amazing relationships that I'll take with me forever. I'll always be a part of this franchise. I'll always be cheering it on. I'll always be a part of it through the wins and the losses. And, you know, I'm going to feel what the X Factor feels every single night when they come to this arena expecting, you know, a show. That's the beauty of playing here. And that's the standard we've set in the last 20 years. And that's given me great pride to come back year after year. When I got here in 2004, I kind of knew I was going to be here for a long time. I had a feeling that this was home in a strange and mysterious way. But I want to thank every single coach, every single player, every single person that's put on a WNBA jersey, because it takes a village, and our league is about uplifting each other at every turn. If it is the last time, it felt like the first time. I love you guys.
She's the logo, the GOAT.
I mean, DT's the GOAT.
The talk of every WNBA All-Star event.
Obviously, DT, who's been in this league such a long time.
Being able to see DT, I've watched her for a really, really long time.
She is the model of how to play the game the right way.
Or as I'm calling it, Diana Taurasi Appreciation Weekend.
I've been thinking about it a lot, and to have everyone here in Phoenix, it's just been, you know, the best 2 days ever.
20 years in the league, 11-time All-Star.
You know, 20 years go by fast. If anything from this weekend is there's a lot of people who love this league.
DT has tried to become the first basketball player ever to win 6 Olympic gold medals. That's her resume. It's impressive. But this $100 million Mercury new practice facility is the legacy.
Like, thank you. Like, it sucks because she won't get to experience it maybe as long as I will, yet she paved the way for me to have this.
She deserves it, or as DT prefers to say, we deserve it.
Every single player deserves a facility like that.
At 42 years old, it's unknown how many more of these moments are still left. But this is clear.
Diana is the reason why we're able to do this and the way that it's grown, right?
It's moments like this that make the journey fun.
Thank you, DT. Cameron Cox, 12 Sports.
ticket to Diana Taurasi's first pro basketball game is going to be worth a lot of money. So I'm keeping this one. Diana's debut was solid, not spectacular. Well, scratch that. This half-court heave before the half was spectacular. And with a crowd of about 9,000 fans there mainly to see her, it's clear she's going to bring a lot of joy to a lot of fans in a town that has not had a lot to cheer about lately. But how does her first game stack up to other icons that have played here? 12 years ago, Charles Barkley opened America West Arena with an amazing game and a win against the Clippers. Chuck scored 37 points, pulled down 21 boards, added 8 assists, and one really long toss into the stands. Randy Johnson debuted in Dodger Stadium in 1999. He didn't get a decision in an 8-6 loss, but as we learned, practice makes perfect, and he's still going strong today. And one of Emmitt Smith's few bright spots was his first game in a Cardinals uniform. It was in Detroit, and he had his biggest game of the year, 64 yards on 13 carries. Taurasi is only a rookie and very, very good right now, but the best thing is, the best is yet to come.
Whatever it takes to get the people out to the arena like it was tonight, it was great. You know, it's a good feeling to come out there and know there's, you know, people that appreciate all the hard work you put in there.
I'm curious what you would tell like the UConn freshman version of Diana, seeing this and looking back on what you've created here in the Valley.
You know, the last couple days I've had a lot of time to just reminisce a little bit of being here for 20 years and how far we've come as a franchise, as a city. It's a beautiful thing, and what Matt's been able to do, it's really give us a new look of what this city is. It's the future in a lot of ways, and this facility really symbolizes that.
We saw you get a little emotional when you set foot in here. Does Diana Taurasi cry? Have you shed a tear at all?
I didn't shed a tear, but there's certain moments in your career that just stand out, and you always want to leave things better than you found them. To be able to say that this court's going to be here for the next generation of Mercury players means a lot.
It's a flex to be practicing on your own court, though.
It's pretty cool, you know? I guess you got to bring it every day, huh?
We are just about a week out from the opening ceremony. I mean, what are the feelings like? It's getting real now.
You know, there's always something about the Olympics that's amazing, and I always say opening ceremonies is when it really hits. When you're standing there and the whole delegation is there with you. So we're excited. Today was our first practice. Saturday will be a step in the right direction for our team, and we're really excited.
It's one of the greatest honors in sports, and even if you've been there before, the nerves are always there.
I wouldn't be nervous, but I'm nervous. Like
Mercury sending 3 players to Paris. Diana Taurasi got the news on her 42nd birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you. Yeah.
This is DT's record-breaking 6th Olympic team, going for 6 straight gold medals.
I played my first one in '04. I honestly was like, wow, that was cool. Probably that's it, right? Like just one Olympics, that's good. And now going into my 6th, you know, I'm just, I don't have any words to really describe it.
Joining DT again, Brittany Griner making her 3rd USA roster and her first Olympics since her 10-month detainment in Russia.
A lot of exciting things happening right now. Got our first one on the way. Back on the court. There's a lot of good things happening in my life right now.
Team USA is vying for their 8th consecutive gold medal. The most emotional reaction comes from the USA rookie.
Wow.
Kalia Copper, who's been the Mercury's best player this season, making her first trip to the Olympics.
You prepare so long for this. But for it to happen for me in year 9, it's so special. So it's definitely number 1.
Team USA will be in town training leading up to playing the WNBA All-Stars here in the Valley on July 20th.
I mean, I guess we got something special here in the Valley. It must be in the water.
The WNBA season going to take a hiatus during the Olympics. Team USA's first game is July 29th against Japan. Cameron Cox, 12 Sports. Said there's more in the tank. It almost reminded me like a Rocky line where he was like, there's something still in the basement.
Still some stuff in the basement.
What basement?
In here.
What's still there?
There's just this driving force that I can't shake. And, I want to be on the court. I signed a 2-year deal, and that's my commitment to this team right now. And I feel like I'm going to do everything I can to fulfill those 2 seasons, starting with this one, obviously.
Every year we ask you, do you get sick of it? Like, people ask about their future.
This is my future right now. My future is now. Like, when you get to be 40, like, I'm not looking that far down. I'm looking to, tonight and putting the kids to bed and waking up tomorrow and doing it all over again. And as the years pile up, your circle of things that you need to get done gets way smaller. And right now, it's friends, family, and basketball. I don't have time for anything else.
Are you proud of where the league is now?
There's a lot of room for improvement. I think if you take a step back, we have grown in so many areas. And I think now you have to be able to feel that as a player. It's one thing when everyone else is eating and feeling the growth of the league. And I feel like it's not been on par with what the narrative of the growth has been.
How can it get there?
You start with making sure you have the A-team on things. And then at the same time, I look at the NBA and ask them, we are part of your business. You are signing billion-dollar contracts and TV revenue and this and that. We are under your umbrella. Is too much help? Too little help? We're your business. To make money, you got to spend money, right?
What have you made of Matt Ishbia?
Matt's great. I've had some just incredible conversations with him over the last couple months. And we're on the phone weekly. Not only does he know where the roots of the Suns and the Mercury are, which is here in Phoenix, he feels how important it is to his community. He wants to win championships. And when an owner says that, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to do it, as a player, there's nothing better than that.
Have you seen that already, especially with the Mercury?
Without a doubt, he's moving the needle.
I think Phoenix is a place where we could be really successful.
Moving forward, what would you like to accomplish?
Obviously, winning a championship is something that I don't talk about much, but it's the end game to everything.
Does this season finally feel normal?
It does feel normal. I mean, obviously last year there was so much pressure and so many things going on off the court that it made it really hard to concentrate on the thing that was the most important and the main thing and the reason why we're here. And that's to represent our city. And we're going to bring back that culture that we've set here for the last 19 years.
With the All-Star game coming here, 20 being a big round number, is this the last season for DT?
I don't know. The storyline's there. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, the next Olympics is in LA. That's where I'm from.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
No, see you in LA right now?
I'm joking. I'm not even putting that out there.
I mean, we have the tape now. It's out there. Respectfully, I think some of these coaches walk in thinking they have to prove something to you. Yeah. So what does Coach Tibbetts and his staff bring, and how's the transition been?
They've just been completely amazing. From day one, the organization, the focus, the clear communication, I think all those things just make those relationships a lot stronger and a lot quicker. Obviously, we all want to win a championship. You always want to win, but the one thing we could always bring is that energy and that competitive spirit that really is the city. I feel really lucky to have been in Phoenix the whole time and wearing one jersey. When I got here in 2004, I'd never been to the desert before. I didn't know much about Phoenix, but it's home now. It's, where my family lives. It's where I feel like I'm going to spend the rest of my life. So it's really special to be here after, 20 years.
It's an honor to be called old because it means you've survived, you're still doing it.
Grizzled, scratches for luck, scars for freedom, and I got a lot of scars. I still love to play. I get asked all the time, are you done? When are you gonna be done? I'm like, dang, I've given my whole life to this. Like, this isn't just something I wake up and, say, oh, I'm gonna just show up to training camp.
Have you picked people's brains about retirement or anything?
No, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to come out here and ball out this year. I don't have other interests in life. People keep asking me, what else do you like to do? I'm like, nothing. Basketball, trampoline basketball with Leo in the backyard. Me and baby Isla watching the playoffs for the last, 2 weeks. Penny and I talking about basketball at dinner. Like, we're just basketball addicts.
DT, 18 seasons. What comes to mind when I say that?
Oh, man. Pretty amazing. Especially in sports now, it's kind of unusual to be in one place for a long, long time. This is my home. I feel ownership of what's happened here in Phoenix. Loyalty to me is number one. Like in any relationship over 18 years, there's been some ups and been some downs and
some fights, all the above.
Some fights, some arguments, and some serious conversations. But I've been saying this for a long time. I come into training camp feeling like a rookie every single time. I got to prove myself. I got to build my game. I got to make sure I'm a great teammate. Like, all these things still resonate with me every single time I start a training camp.
So a rookie, but how the joints feel?
Well, that's different. I wish I felt like a rookie. Now, you know, when I was rookie, I don't think I slept. Now I'm like 8 hours a night, a little siesta at 2 p.m.
You could do that with 2 kids?
Yeah, you know, when they sleep, you try to get a nap in too.
What was also cool is when you did the broadcast. A lot of people compared it to Peyton.
I feel like I went into a portal into space. Cheers, man. We gotta wind back. I was pounding beers and cheeseburgers in college.
Sue and I, we just have, you know, we're just homies for a long time. So like, you know, when you're on, you know, you're watching TV with your boys at home and you know what's coming next. And it was fun to be at the Final Four, you know, to see those kids in that moment brings back a lot of great memories.
Call it one of the best team meetings ever.
I actually knew the surprise, but no one else knew the surprise.
I did not know when I woke up this morning that I was going to run into him.
Mercury players in total shock to see NBA great Kobe Bryant pop into their locker room.
I had to like calm down in my head and play cool, but in my head I was freaking out. I was like, yo, you're Kobe, like the GOAT, the legend, like the assassin, like you are the man. So I'm like calming that all down. I'm like, hey, what's up? Thanks for coming out, yeah.
Kobe in town coaching his daughter's AAU team. But first, he decided to take his girls on a little field trip to meet the pros and see how they practice.
You know, it was actually nice for him to be in our house, you know, and with a friendly smile. Usually when he visits Phoenix, he's giving us 50. So it was nice for him to come out and show some love. And, you know, the little Mambas got to meet us and got to practice in our facility and see the locker room. It was just a good little event.
Diana Taurasi and Kobe go way back. After all, DT grew up a Lakers fan, but the respect is mutual. Any chance Kobe can watch DT on the court, he's there. Like when she became the WNBA's all-time leading scorer.
It's not WNBA, NBA, we're a family. You know, we both play at the highest level. We both support each other, and when we go to LA, Kobe is always front row with his daughters.
You know him as such a competitor, but off the court, he's always willing to speak with you and take time out of, you know, his busy life to give you whatever, you know, little tokens of advice that he has. Wow. Well, I just want to say thank all of you for being here today. You know, obviously I made the announcement last week, but I don't think it's felt real until just now. I haven't been in this building, I think, since the last shoot-around, right, Coach? So it's been a while to be back in here. You know, it just instantly, all the great memories that I've had here for 20 years has just been overwhelming. People that I've known for 20 years that made all this possible for a long, long time. And, you know, the thank you list can go on and on, but I'm pretty sure the people that have contributed to my career, to this team, to this franchise, they all know who they are. I could see it in their face. I could see it in their work every single day that they, you know, put on that jersey, walk into this office, walk into this building. Obviously, I want to thank my family, my mom and dad, and my sister. They're just always been there, always had my back 100% in everything that I do. I don't think the last half of my career would have happened without Penny Taylor, who is the most amazing wife, partner you could ever have in life, the best mother of all time. If you would meet Leo and Isla, you would know it's a lot of work. They're so well behaved right now. I want to thank Matt and Josh. You know, after 20 years, you don't think it could get any better, but the last, you know, year and a half, 2 years has really given me such a feeling of achievement and pride in where we've taken this team and this city and this franchise. And, you know, just looking at Nick and Nate, where it's going in the future is just going to be limitless, what we're going to be able to do here. Vince, all you guys know Vince, he made you put on that shirt today. You know, I told Vince, hey, I want to have a press conference and, you know, just, you know, invite the usuals. And I thought, you know, Bickley was going to show up, a little tape recorder, and Jeff. And I walk in here today and I see all these amazing faces that have made it so special to be here. This is my home. We're all family members, you know, and I thought really hard about maybe playing again, but I knew that in my heart, I was physically, mentally just full with the game of basketball. Everything it's given me in life, the ups, the downs, the journeys, the incredible smiles, the frowns, the championships. And it's always been with a group of people that always cared about this game. You know, I want to thank, you know, all the GMs in the past, the Seth Sulkas, who got me here, Annie Myers, Jim Pittman. You three have really set the standard of this franchise for a long time, and people always wanted to come to Phoenix because you guys treated this team with a lot of respect, and I was always just willing to be a part of it because I knew in hearts of hearts we always wanted to win and do it the right way, and that's, out of all the things in my career, the checklist goes on and on, but being in this city for 20 years, to me, is the one thing that is the most important thing in the world. You know, championships and points, all those things will be broken, hopefully not soon. But the character and the loyalty you show as a person every single day, that's what people care about. That's what people remember. And hopefully, if I did that in a way that can transcend the way people look at not only women's basketball, but women's sports, and how we give up our lives and sacrifice everything for the thing that we love the most. And for me, that was basketball forever. And now, looking into the future, I use all those memories and all those great lessons I learned from all these great coaches and human beings that I was, you know, lucky enough to be around. And I'll take all those lessons into the future, and, you know, we'll go from there. Open to questions.
State your name and affiliation, please.
Of Goodbye, Sports 360 AZ, congratulations on your retirement. When did you know it was for sure the time, and what got you to that spot? And
Oh, well, that's a good one. You know, after the season ended, I really wanted to take some time away and really think about what I wanted to do. You know, I know the work that goes into preparing for a season. And I knew once that date of January 1st kind of came and went, and then it was like mid-January, and then Feb came, I knew in my heart that I didn't have it in me to put that, you know, 4-month, you know, preparation that I usually do going into a season. I just didn't have that in me anymore. And I was fine with that. But, you know, I walked in here today and I told Nick I want to play again. But, you know, I'm sure I'll have those feelings a lot, but I am so happy where I'm at right now personally. You know, now I get to really reflect on what 20 years felt like, the things that I was lucky enough to be a part of.
Dan, you just said now you have a chance to look back and reflect. So what have the last 20 years been like for you? And if you had to sum up your career, how would you do that?
It's pretty simple. I just wanted to win. You know, at the end of the day, I did everything because I wanted to win. I wanted to compete and I wanted to win. I didn't do it for, you know, a little bit of fame, a little bit of money. I didn't do it for any of that. I did it literally to win and have the respect of the people around me. And I kept that small circle really small and tight. And I think that is the most important thing when you go through this journey, which is really just life. To me, it just, it happened to be basketball. But, you know, you have to have really good people around you that trust you, that believe in you. And at the same time, you also have to give that back. I always, you know, considered being here in Phoenix a two-way street. You know, for as much as they did for me, I wanted to just pay that back twice-fold. And, you know, I just wanted to win. That's it.
Next question. Richard?
Check, check.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to leave things better than when you came. And, you know, when we got here in 2004, Penny was on that team. You know, I think we had won 8 games. And the next year we doubled that win total. And then, you know, we still struggled. We still didn't make the playoffs for the next 3 years. And then we finally made the playoffs. We won our first championship in 2007. And that was the beginning of, you know, putting this franchise on the map. You know, you can say you're doing all the right things and this and that, but until you win a championship, I think, you know, that's the ultimate goal. You ask anyone who plays sports, it's to win a championship, or they should say that, which I don't know if they do anymore. That's what you should say, kids. And the whole journey is just, you know, as it's gone on, it's just gotten sweeter and sweeter. And, you know, looking back 20 years from now, I don't think you can tell a kid in high school now how it was 20 years ago, nor do they care. And I'm really leaning into the future of what basketball is going to look like for, you know, not only the WNBA, but, you know, women's sports in general. And it's amazing to finally get here. And that's why we always have to appreciate the people that came before us. You know, all the women, all the players, all the staff, the coaches that have been in the game of basketball for decades and decades that have set this up, that laid the foundation for, you know, the fruits of our labor that we get to enjoy now, like this building and all these amazing things. And that's all on the backs of all these women that were here before us.
Nick?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm still going through them. You know, last week we got on a plane to New York, and as we're getting on the plane, Leo says, "Is retirement sad?" And that was the longest 4-hour plane ride to New York ever. Just thinking about if it's sad. And it is sad. I am sad. I don't show it. I am, you know, I don't like to outwardly show my sadness, but I am sad. You know, it's the game that I played since I was 7. it's all the things that in life I always loved to do, and that was to play the game of basketball. And, you know, I think it's more emotional for my family and my friends. They were always there. They were always behind me in everything we did. And I think they enjoyed in that journey just as much as I did. You know, faces I see here who have been, you know, along the ride for the last 20 years with me, from practice players to, you know, assistant coaches. Barry had to, you know, take a picture of my ugly face for the last 20 years. Like, that's a lot of hard work, Goose. Bridget, you know, Bridget went from, you know, our starting shooting guard, assistant coach mid-year, and did it more gracefully than anyone I could ever have, you know, thought. I mean, all these things that I learned from all these people around me, all these lessons, and I am sad. And, you know, I'll be watching from afar and rooting on like the X Factor does every year.
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
I know you talked about winning being everything, but once you win throughout your career, what have been some of the elements of the game that you started to really enjoy and learn as soon as you started winning championships?
Yeah, I mean, everything's about evolving. If you don't evolve, you die. And in the game of basketball, if you don't evolve your mind, your body, as you get older, you get left behind. And I always had this inner motor, this inner fire of trying to be better. Not better than the next person, but better than myself. I never thought I was good enough. And those are the things that made me walk into the gym every single day, earlier than everyone, stay later than everyone, work out when no one's watching. I'm still working out like I'm getting ready for the season at home. And Penny's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to be better. And you know, that's just something that has, it's a skill that you learn, and everything in life is a learned skill, and I'm still trying to evolve day by day, but as I was going through my career, I have stages of where you can see me physically change, mentally change, and you know, those are the things that I really enjoyed. Oh, I never answered my favorite technical, right? It was a game at home against Minnesota. I already had one technical. And I remember a ref called a really bad foul, shocking. And I tried to run away, and I tripped over my feet and fell, and she gave me a second technical, and I got ejected. So that one, I remember. You remember Pittman? Yeah, I remember.
Hey, Diana, over here. Sorry, Brendan Clean, Phoenix New Times. Between this court and the street outside the arena, there will be your presence in the city regardless of what your next chapter looks like, but curious what you expect or want these first few years of retirement to look like for you.
Oh, that's a tough question. You know, I really don't know, to be honest. I've been so addicted to the game of basketball for the last 30 years. It's all I thought about. It's all I prepared for. It's the thing that, you know, motivated me to become a better person every day. You know, and the last couple weeks, I've really understood what it really means to be home and be present. You know, I was home before, but my mind was always thinking about the next game, the next season, the next free agency signing, all the things that, you know, when you're on a team and you really care, all the things that wake you up in the morning. And now, yeah, it's Leo and Isla and being present for Penny and my family and friends that, you know, like I said before, would always make sure I was okay. Now it's my turn to repay all that to them. And, you know, as far as what I'm going to do, I really don't know.
Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. You've talked in the past about maybe being involved in investing in women's sports in some way, and a lot of athletes are doing that now. Is that something you could see yourself doing? And also, do you see yourself doing something with Sue and Megan in podcasting or casting that way?
Yeah, well, obviously, the WNBA, and more specifically being here in Phoenix, is something that, if it's possible, I would love to be involved in some way, somehow. I think the game is going in such a great direction. There's such energy and momentum that, you know, it's the one thing that I know probably better than anything, and that's basketball. So hopefully I can use some of that expertise in a way to help in any way, especially here. As far as Megan and Sue, I'm sure we'll be drinking a lot of wine in the next 2-3 weeks. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be chatting a lot. And you know, what they're doing is pretty amazing too, to use their platform in making sure that these stories are being told. You know, Sue and Megan are the best at that.
Dana.
Mike, check. Hi. Hey, Dana Scott, Arizona Republic.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
Speaking of Sue and drinking wine, she mentioned on that podcast, Touch More, how you and her devised a short-lived plan to join forces with the New York Liberty. Just wanted you to verify that. And what made you decide to stay in Phoenix? And also, how do you think that duo would have impacted the WNBA at the time?
I believe it's called Pleading the Fifth. On that one. You know, you got a lot of time on your hands when you're overseas, and I'm sure we had a conversation about, you know, we play overseas together, we play on the Olympic team together. I think at that particular time in both our WNBA careers, we were probably both cranky and unhappy on how things were going. And I think that was just the competitive side of both of us always wanting to win and always thinking, you know, if it's a move here or a chance to win here, you know, we'd always do it. But it was probably a short-lived conversation. We probably both didn't remember it in the morning. She probably remembers a little bit better than I did. I probably started earlier. But yeah, it would have been amazing to play with Sue. Who wouldn't want to play with the best point guard ever? You know, I always said, if there's one player that always worried about everyone else and themselves last, it was always Sue. And, you know, that's why her teams have always been incredible.
Julia.
Congrats on a storied career. Congrats on retirement. Julia Lopez with Arizona's Family. And Dee, just, you've had such a huge impact on the Valley, but what about the community has an impact on you? What have they been for you within the last 20 years?
It's just such a great place to live. You know, our kids go to school here now. There's just a real authenticity about this city and the people who live here, were born here, who work here. There's just this unconditional love that they have for their city. And it, you know, it comes out with obviously being at the Phoenix Mercury games, being at the Suns games, being at the D-backs games, at the Cardinals game. There's just this pride of being from the Valley that it's close, you know, to my heart, because for the last 20 years, I've really grown up here. And it's just been wonderful to be a part of this community in the past, and going into the future. I'd expect to be even more entrenched in the community, because they do support us at every turn, every season. You know, and it's hard being a fan. I didn't say thank you enough to the fans. You know, to come to the games every single night, that effort, that passion that they come with must be exhausting. Because I'm a fan now, and I fan hard. And I'm exhausted sometimes. And, you know, the X Factor has just always been amazing. Everyone who's come here in the last 20 years, you know, whether they've played 1 season, 10 seasons, or 20 seasons, they show them the same love as if they had played here their whole career. And you don't get that everywhere. You don't get that anywhere, actually.
Rafael.
Diana, buenas tardes. Rafael Sánchez, Somos AC Sports. Diana, ¿algo más que te faltó por ganar en estos 20 años de carrera? Was there anything else that you missed to win in 20 years of career?
Do you want Spanish or English?
Spanish, please.
Spanish, okay. Bueno. Y bueno, cuando jugaba 20 años en una ciudad de un orgullo muy grande, ganamos 3 campeonatos acá, 6 medallas de oro en la Olimpiada. Me gustaría haber ganado 6 o 7 campeonatos, pero todas las temporadas son diferentes, con lesiones, con diferentes circunstancias que pasan durante las temporadas, pero creo que jugando en una ciudad por 20 años con la misma camiseta, para mí es todo. El amor que yo tengo para la ciudad, el amor que la ciudad tiene para mi familia y todas las jugadoras que han jugado acá en Phoenix. Como dije antes, la hincha que tenemos acá es como ninguna en la WNBA. Tenemos las mejores hinchas. A los fanáticos acá le encantan el básquet. Y la cosa que me gusta más que todo es que saben el partido, saben el juego. Ellos saben cuando tenemos un equipo bárbaro y va a ganar un campeonato porque ven cómo jugamos. Y esas cosas no se ven en todos los deportes y un orgullo de estar acá por 20 años es todo.
Robin, this is the last question.
Dee.
Hey, Robin.
Hey, Dee. This morning, Matt and the Phoenix Mercury announced that you'd be going into the Mercury's Ring of Honor. What was it like to receive that phone call from him, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I had a great conversation with Matt, and you know, whenever you talk to Matt, he just gives you this burst of energy. He just really makes you want to really represent this city and this club and this franchise. He has such love and admiration, and it's really nice to feel that after you've put in so much work. And I mean, the names up there are just legends that I looked up to, got to share the court with, won championships with, and it'll fit nicely with them.
That's it, unless you sure you want to retire?
All set. Thank you guys for everything.
All right, of course, the Mercury are going to look very different this year. No DT, no BG. They got a new group of all-stars who we'll get to know as we get closer in the season. But the big news this week, Diana Taurasi has Taurasi.
Get it
Whoopi,
together,
come
kid.
on.
Good
That's what happens.
Whippy.
That's what happens
Someone
when they
left
go
her
on
hanging. That's
these
a bad
national
producer.
shows that don't know these people. Come here. Come home. Do the press conference. Bring the view here. If you want to do something like that.
Absolutely.
Sorry, that's my rant. Diana Taurasi.
I'll be the Joy Behar of the group if I must.
Retiring after 20 seasons in the W, a bunch of all-stars, bunch of awards, finals, championships, college, best player of all time, GOAT, the White Mamba. We could go on and on. Lena, as someone who grew up here, her impact. I have a thought on this, but I'll start with you first. Her impact on the Valley. What are you going to remember about DT here?
I mean, she is the Valley. She is Valley sports. She's on the Mount Rushmore of all-time athletes to come through Arizona. She's not from here. She's made this her home. Yeah. She built her family here. She is the face of the franchise.
Those kids are grown up, by the way.
Yes, I mean,
every time we see it, they're grown up.
She was flying to go, be with Penny in delivery during the finals a couple of years ago. Flew back. Obviously, we know how things turned out, but yeah. I will never forget one of my first assignments here was covering the 2021 WNBA finals. They had to move the game to Arizona State's campus because there was Disney on Ice in downtown Phoenix. They didn't plan, I guess, for a long playoff run.
They wouldn't do that anymore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. It is brutal. They played at GCU, they played at ASU, but I was one of 3 people talking to Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner, and Skylar Diggins-Smith, and Sandy Brondello at the time. And as someone who grew up here, who watched the Mercury come here, who was part of the junior Mercury hip-hop squad as a young girl, who grew up going to games when my father worked at America West Arena, to see what she has done for the Valley and how loyal she has been, I don't know if it will ever be replicated in this landscape. And we should be so, so grateful that she has represented Phoenix, the Mercury, and has done it at the highest level. We have the new generation coming up. Sure, those records are meant to be broken, right?
They will be. And they will be.
And they will be. Yeah. But those are high bars to clear. The all-time winningest Olympian for Team USA basketball. I mean, there are no words. There are no other ways to describe Diana Taurasi. To have a court dedicated to you while you're on the team, I mean, to have a street named after you while you're still in your prime, bringing 3 championships to the Valley and representing again with the utmost professionalism, poise. She's gone through a lot. I mean, as the representative of this team, everything that BG went through, to go through all the coaching changes, to go through an ownership change, to go overseas and play, to come and make a career out of this career with the lack of exposure and pay that these women were receiving up until recently when the W really blew up and exposure was provided to mainstream, so they understood kind of the plight of these women, right? I mean, she will always be the standard for Mercury players, for WNBA players. All due respect to those who came before, the Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoop, Cheryl Mill, all of those. But as someone who grew up here, watched her play, and got to cover her, I mean, that is an ultimate dream. So thank you, DT, for everything. Thank you, Penny, for letting her hang out in Phoenix and do her thing
After
for
all
longer
those years,
than maybe
too?
she wanted to. But she stayed true to what she said. When the game's not fun, when the work becomes hard, she'll bow out. She didn't want a farewell tour like Sue, her BFF, had. But I know the tease of If This Is It gave fans an opportunity to show out, show up, and show their love for the GOAT.
Jake, what you got?
Man, that was a beautiful encapsulation of the best WNBA career that I've seen from start to finish.
Yeah.
I think what I go back to is the point that Lena made about just kind of like the trials and tribulations of being a WNBA or a women's professional basketball player when she came up. I don't think it gets appreciated enough just how grueling of a schedule that is. Not only doing the Caitlin Clark, which Caitlin Clark had to do this year, but going from a college season where you make a deep run, win a national championship, make it to the Final Four, and then weeks later turn around and start another season in the WNBA. That is insane.
Sure.
But then for Diana Taurasi to do something that Caitlin Clark won't have to do, and that's to go overseas.
To Russia.
And play 12, 15 years over there. And like, that is so demanding and taxing on your body. She is on the LeBron James level of just like taking care of your body and body maintenance, because like it's insane just the longevity and the peak that she sustained for so long. So I think that doesn't get appreciated enough. I also know that just like going back and watching old clips of her, she was a walking bucket.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. She just like.
And a walking technical foul.
That too. But that comes with the territory.
Sure.
You know,
You want that dog, right?
Yeah.
By the way, she retired first in WNBA history with technical fouls.
She's proud of that.
They made
a badge of honor.
Yeah, I mean, when you're so much better than everyone around you, you have to hold yourself and the people around you to a high standard, and that includes the refs. So, but yeah, just going back and watching old clips of her, like the way that she moved on a basketball court, it was different than everyone else. The way she handled the basketball, she could create shots that nobody else could. And I feel like just because the WNBA didn't get the level of exposure that it's at now, we kind of forget just like how transcendent of a talent she was.
That was before social media.
Yes.
Missed all those social media clips she was draining those buckets. Jake, real quick, you talked to one of her former teammates and had a great story. Do you mind sharing it with us?
Yeah. Blanking on it really quick. So former ASU great Bryant January.
Yep.
So Bryant January's rookie season, she's playing for the Indiana Fever. That is when Diana Taurasi and the Mercury make it to the WNBA Finals, and the two of those teams go head-to-head. So January talked about just like her level for respect for Taurasi going up to that game, January attending ASU, just having a front row seat to Taurasi kind of.
She was a dog when she was a Sun Devil as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And you saw that dog in her on one play in game 2 where she stole a ball, took it to the other end of the court, goes up for a layup, and inadvertently throws an elbow.
Like a good elbow.
To who?
Penny Taylor.
One Penny Taylor.
And that ended up breaking Penny Taylor's nose.
She went walking off the court like this.
Causing her to miss the rest of the game. She would come back in the series and have various pivotal moments in that series. But fast forward a few years later, Bryant January is a few weeks away from coming to the Mercury and becoming teammates with Diana Taurasi when Taylor was in the front office of the Mercury. And so she said that there was that level of like, are we past that? Or is this going to be addressed? Are we okay? Everything all right? And so she said, like, she was not going to bring that up until she felt confident that Taurasi was, a good person, first of all, which she quickly learned that she was. And after a while of playing with her, she was like, are we all good there? Everything good? And turns out things were okay.
Yeah.
So, one of my favorite stories of, talking to people about Diana Taurasi this week.
Jake, and it's been great. As you mentioned the archives, like I went through a lot of the stuff this week, and the moments, some things that stuck out with me about DT. I remember when Kobe Bryant came to visit, brought his little mamacitas, the basketball team, in to the Mercury locker room, and there's a great shot of DT and Kobe hugging. And I remember rushing to the arena as soon as the Mercury put out a tweet on that. And I actually got a chance to talk to DT, BG, Sandy Brondello about Kobe being there. And, you know, you knew that Kobe was like her inspiration, but her childhood hero, but you just didn't know how close, like, they really were. We all saw that when she spoke at his, you know, memorial service out there in LA, how well they knew each other. The White Mamba nickname was given to her from Kobe. Like, there's no better nickname for Diana Taurasi than to be the women's basketball version of Kobe Bryant.
Absolutely.
And so I remember that. I also found so many different things of DT out in the community, whether it was bagging groceries at Fry's every year, wherever they went with the Mercury. And like she's the greatest women's basketball player of all time. And yet there she is at a grocery store with her teammates, like talking to some mom, taking time out to shop with this little kid, or at the park doing something
Dedicating
with fans,
courts.
or dedicating courts, or getting to the game early and spending so much time with fans before. There are tons of Mercury fans who know Diana on a first name basis. Both of it goes both ways. And that's all because of the time she took to spend in our community, with the Valley, with people. And I just thought some of those moments were really cool to see. Lena, you mentioned some of the trailblazers of this business. I grew up in Houston, was big-time Comets fans, went to all 4 of those parade. You know, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper.
Sure.
You mentioned Lisa Leslie. Here, you know, the Mighty Mercury song. I'm not going to sing it.
I mean, Jennifer Gillum, all of
Jennifer
them.
Gillum, Cheryl
The
Miller,
OG.
Michelle Timms, like all those women who built this game. Diana was in charge with growing the game. So those women laid the foundation. Hey, it's here. The WNBA is here. We're starting this new league. Here's the excitement. Here's the basketball. It was DT's job to carry that torch to this generation now. And I thought about that the other night. And to Jake's point, like how hard that was. Social media wasn't around. Those women, you know, they dressed in locker rooms that, like, probably LA Fitness.
The W was going through an identity crisis
was
at that
nicer
time
than
as
back
well.
in the day. They didn't play in the right arenas. They didn't get the same travel. You know, you name it, she went through it all and had to carry that torch to what it is now. And that, to me, has to be the hardest job ever in this league's history. You launch the league, okay, now you got to sustain the league and get it to where it is now. And DT deserves. Now, there's other women too that have helped between now and then. We could all name them.
Absolutely.
You know, her best friends too as well. But for her to be the face, the trailblazer, she is the logo. She is, just so we're clear, that is her on that logo.
And
She'll never admit it.
Yeah.
But for her to do all that, for her to
Who else
carry
wears a
this
slick
league-
back bun like that?
Exactly.
Come on.
For her to carry this league to what it is now, I just hope people realize what that all entails, and I hope she gets her flowers for that, because that was not easy to get to this point, to where now these younger superstars and to where this game is, and the contracts that's coming for TV and social media, and everybody eating now really well and going to continue to eat. There were people that started the league. There were people that carried the league, including DT, to where it is now. And now it's just going to go like this. And I just think that's really cool when you look back on it. Like, she was the one to hold that thing together. And that, to me, that's just neat.
Absolutely. And my last thought on this, too, is Nick Uren, the new general manager, a local guy, he has a tall order ahead of him.
Yeah.
Creating a new identity for this team. It's going to look completely different. Kalia Copper is now essentially the face of the franchise because she's the only starter still left. Sophie Cunningham gone. I mean, BG gone. The X Factor is probably going to go through a little bit of a transition, culture change.
You have to learn a new team.
Absolutely. So, you know, you hope that he's able to take this team, this franchise, into the new era post DT and find that same success, find that same excitement, and bring another championship and you know, get that work in at a Diana Taurasi court down the street here. And it's been amazing to watch what she has been able to bring to this Valley. But now it's about what's next and how does this team stay relevant, stay exciting, find the new face, that new, I don't want to say DT, but who someone can rally around, who's going to represent this Valley like that in the community, on the court, in the numbers, on the box score, as well as the personality in the locker room. Who will be that person? It remains to be seen. Big, big shoes to fill.
Lena, you mentioned that practice facility and that court that's named after her. That's another thing. Like, that was the big talk when All-Star Weekend was here.
That was a big event.
Everyone
was there.
Thank you, DT, because without you, that $100 million practice facility exclusively for women's sports does not
One of the few.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Team DT, of course, is the GOAT. We all know the Mercury going to look very different this season. No DT, no Brittany Griner, a new big three centered around Olympian Kalia Copper, right? Coming up later on 12 News and, of course, Sunday night on 12 Sports tonight at 10:30, we are one-on-one with the GOAT, Diana Taurasi. She's talking to 12 Sports about her career and her full life out here in the Valley. Thank you so much for watching us right here for Diana Taurasi's retirement press conference. I'm Cameron Cox. Remember, happiness is a choice. Go out and make it a great day. As we send you out the door, here's another look at some of the DT moments from our 12 Sports Vault.